This is part 2 of my video on how to make a baby's bonnet. It's a very simple pattern and it's very easy to make if you've got basic crochet skills. So in this first video I'm going to show you how to make the rose motif in the center of the square. You can use any thread with a matching hook, but the size of your thread will determine how large or how small the bonnet will be. You can adjust the size by making more or less rows to the square. So for this bonnet I'm using ecru thread size 60 and I'm using a 0.75 hook. So to start, we're going to make a loop to start. And then we're going to chain 8. Then make a slip stitch into the first chain. So that's what you've got to start. Chain 6. And make a double crochet into the center of the circle. Chain 3, make another double crochet into the center of the circle, and we're going to do that until we have 6 compartments for the petals. So there are 5 segments now, so I'm going to change 3 and make a slip stitch in the 3rd chain of the 6th chain that you used to start with. So this is what you get after the first row. So you have 6 different segments around the inner circle. We're now going to make the first petal, and into the first segment we do a single crochet, a half double crochet, and 5 double crochet, after the 5 double crochet we do another half crochet, double crochet, and a single crochet. So that is the first petal made. We move into the next segment and do the same again. So a single crochet, a half double crochet, and 5 double crochet. So a half double crochet and a single crochet, and that's the second petal done. So now I'm going to work my way around until I've done all 6 petals. So here I've made the 6th petal, and the next thing I'm going to do is make a slip stitch into the first single crochet in the first petal. So this is what you've got after the first row of petals. Now to make the second row, this is slightly more complicated. I always chain 1 and I go around the back and I make a slip stitch into the double crochet around the circle. I make the 1 chain to make it a little bit easier for it to reach so it doesn't pull. And now I'm going to chain 5. And I'm going to make a single crochet round the next double crochet here. And chain 5 again, and then work my way around below each petal. So I've reached the last one, and here's the chain for the first petal, and I make another slip stitch at the base of that. So what you've got is you've got the flower, and behind, if you turn the work round, you'll see 6 little 5 chain segments, and we're going to use those to crochet on. So we're going to be crocheting on these chains behind the petals. In this row, on this chain, we're going to do, again, very similar to the first row, a single crochet, a half double crochet, and 7 double crochet, so 7 instead of 5. So there we've got the 7 double crochet, and now a half double crochet and a single crochet. So that is the second row of petals, and now I'm going to work my way around until I have all 6 petals done. Single crochet, half double crochet, 7 double crochet, another half double crochet, and a single crochet. So that's the second petal made, and now I'm going to work my way around until all 6 petals are made. So I've done the last petal. Again, I'm going to make a slip stitch into this first single crochet of the first petal, and again, as in the previous part, I chain 1, make a slip stitch round the base, so it's the base of the second petal. So I'm not going to the double crochet from the first row, but around the base at the bottom of the second row of petals. Make another slip stitch, and now instead of chaining 5, I'm going to chain 7. As you can see, the increments are quite easy. On the first row there were 3 chain, on the second row there were 5 chain, on this row there are 7 chain, and likewise with the petals. On this one there were 5 double crochet, on this one there were 7 double crochet, and on the last one there'll be 9 double crochet. So again, I make a single crochet at the base of the second row of petals, and now I go work my way around to the end. So here again, I'm at the last one, so I make a slip stitch into the base of the first chain, the start of the first chain. So again, so here's the front of the flower, and if you look at the back, there's again a row of chains behind the second petal, and we're going to crochet on those chains. So as in the previous row of petals, we're going to use the chain behind the petal, and I'm going to do a single crochet, a half double crochet, and now 9 double crochet. So as you can see, the amount of double crochet has an increment of 2. Half double crochet after the 9 and a single crochet. So again, I'll be working my way around until I have 6 petals. So I finished the last petal, and I make a slip stitch in the first single crochet of the first petal. So here we have the rose, and that'll be the foundation for our square. And in the next video I'll be showing you how I make the square. So you can make this rose, this is one with raised petals, but you can also make a rose with flat petals. It depends on whether the piece you're making is going to be ironed often. If it's going to be ironed often, you might be better off having a flat rose. And here's an example of a flat rose. The difference between this rose and that rose is simply when you finished your first row, instead of working behind the rose, so in these double crochets, you work between the petals. So you do it exactly the same. You make a chain 5, but instead of working on this double crochet, you're working on the single crochets between the petals. So you just make a loop and attach it between the petals and work your way around. This is handy if you're making something that needs to be ironed regularly, whereas this is more kind of decorative. But both can do, so you can make them like this, or if you have another design of rose, that's fine. It's important that you know how many petals you have, because this square is based on 12. So I've got 6 petals, so I doubled that, I've got 12. So if you make sure you can divide your motif into 12, you'll be able to turn it easily into a square. So here you can have a close-up look of the rose. They're very, very traditional, and you come across a lot of them in Irish crochet. I'm sure I've made videos in the past about how to make these, There are several different methods. You could work on a ring where you're using thread, a padding thread, or you can make it with an open center. There are various different methods on how to make these roses. All of them are equally good, so you don't necessarily have to follow my rows, but I find this one of the easiest ones. So in the next video I'll be turning this into a square.